Hey everyone, how you doing? It's time for the PDG Advertising Podcast, and this is episode 14 with me, Peter Doak. So, to get us kicked off today, I wanted to share something that I learned from a guy that I worked with, a very talented web development team manager. And this team based in Australia, they were very adept at using themes and adopting themes for customers, for websites. I guess this follows on a little bit from yesterday's talk of, you need a designer and then you need a developer. If you're going to go with a theme, and just for anybody that doesn't know, if you go on to Google and you Google theme monster or theme forest, you will find probably at this stage millions of themes out there that you can use as your base level of your website. Probably change the images on it, the text on it, upload it to WordPress, and that's in no particular order. And then you've got a really professional looking theme. Now, the kind of downside of it is that someone else could get your theme and someone else could look like your website, but I doubt that that really matters so much. I think it's more important that your product is good and that what you're doing is the right thing. But what this guy Tom told me, he's actually a member of SkyPoint team in Australia, in Sydney. Tom's actually a banging house DJ. It's one of my great passions, dance music. So I think that's why we got on quite well. And Tom told me once that whenever you're dealing with a theme, don't mess around with it too much. You can maybe change images. You can maybe change some colors. You can maybe change a little bit of the alignment of things, but don't mess about with it too much, because the designer of that theme, if it looks good and looks strong, there's a reason why certain elements are in place, and there's a reason why there are certain colors used, and there's a reason why it is the way it is. So whenever you start messing about with it, and you end up with something that you don't really like, it's because you weren't the person that designed the theme initially, and you're not necessarily qualified enough to be making those changes. Qualified is the wrong word. I think what I'm going for is you're not the person that created it. Whenever you start making changes to it, you're not able to take that backward creative genius step that allowed that person to create a theme that you've actually liked. So something that's quite important to not mess around with the theme too much. And the reason why I bring this up is because there's a bunch of platforms out there in the world. There's Canva for some creative design. There's MailChimp for email design. There's Ad Espresso for Facebook ads design. There's so many different ways to get to where you're going now in advertising and in platform that it makes sense to understand how to use the individual platforms, because there's a reason why MailChimp is set up in the way that it's set up. There's a reason why the themes look like that with certain places where buttons are and certain places where images are. In Canva, whenever you see a really nice design, there's a reason why you think it's nice. It's because it's well designed. So whenever you then start to stick stuff on top of it or move stuff about or mess about with it too much, you go further and further away from the true design and the true art that it was meant to be. And what we're working on in PDG Advertising is getting really, really good at working in platform with anything that we use. So we don't create something outside of the platform and then import it in. We work within the platforms to make it as good as it can possibly be. And not all the time, I guess. There's sometimes when it's necessary to design outside of the platform, but the majority of time we'll design in platform and just work within the parameters that exist, because they've been set up by people, they've been refined, they've been worked on, and you've liked it from the start. So why mess about with that whenever you get into the platform itself? So today I was uploading episode 13, and today I'll probably upload this episode number 14 into YouTube. And something cool happened, and this is the kind of stuff that I really want to be sharing on this channel. So I've always noticed whenever you go to, let's say, Gary Vaynerchuk, or let's say Bill Burr or Joe Rogan, when you go to the early episodes of those podcasts on YouTube, you'll see that they have very few views in comparison to the more recent episodes. And it's geeks and diehard fans like me that have gone to the depths of, 600 videos in YouTube of Gary Vaynerchuk to find out what it was like at the start. Excuse me. Hiccuping on the podcast. It's no good. It is no good. But go into the depths of those, archives to find what they were like to start off with. And I'm seeing the mini effect of that happening on the PDG Advertising Podcast. So two things happened. One, we're at 13 podcasts right now, 13 episodes that have been uploaded to YouTube. And the first few on YouTube have very few views, maybe one or two. But as time goes on and as more are added, there are more views. So there are 14 times as many, views on the more recent podcasts. And this is only 13 podcasts in. So what on earth can we do at 100 podcasts? And look, if you're one of those people that is now listening to this podcast regularly, I'm over the moon about that. I would love you to make a comment under this post or under this video, or subscribe to the channel and imagine, what we can do in the future. It's quite incredible. And here's a tip. So whenever you are looking back over this podcast to find out, how to do it and how we did it, when we do it, because we haven't done it yet, and we're not claiming to have done it yet, but it's a great journey to be on. Whenever you're looking at it, I made one change to the way that we title the episodes on YouTube. And let's just take a step back. So why am I putting these episodes on YouTube? We're getting a lot of plays on SoundCloud, on iTunes, on Anchor, and on Spotify right now, which is good. Yesterday was our highest day, but still quite small, but we're still getting a lot of views and listens on those platforms. But I believe that YouTube is the place where people will discover us organically. I'm not convinced that on SoundCloud, Spotify, or iTunes that we're going to be picked up organically, but I think that we can be on YouTube, which is good. I think taking another level forward, whenever we get really consistent with YouTube, which I think we are at the moment, but whenever we get a little bit more content on there, we're going to be able to take lots of snippets and put that out across Facebook, across Instagram, across Twitter, across any different medium out there. So YouTube is a very important one, but I'm seeing the effect of it now. So I'm even noticing few people listen to the first few, some more listening to the mid-range ones, and then from 11, 12, and 13, well, I don't know about 13, it's only been uploaded today, but definitely 11, 12, many more people have viewed than the other ones. I also broke into YouTube Analytics today, and as a data geek like myself, that was cool to look into that, see where people are listening to us. Some of you guys from America, where was the furthest, or not the furthest place that I didn't expect. A lot of people in India listen to it. It's amazing. It's just a real privilege, I suppose, to be able to put up content and have people all over the world listen to it. So if you are listening, thank you. And I look forward to creating a lot more for you to listen to in the future. I'm going to go off on a bit of a tangent on this podcast. Now, look, this is about digital marketing, but I said recently on one of these podcasts that I was trying to, get a little bit healthier and work out a bit more. And I've been doing that, eating a little bit better in the last week and going to the gym and walking and things like that. But I've started to think about being a little bit more body conscious. And I thought, right, well, how can you, from top to toe, get yourself more healthier? And I thought, well, it'd be good to understand about different parts of the body. And I thought, right, I'm going to understand about the brain because it's at the top. So I'm going to see how can you keep your brain healthy, because assumingly it's one of the most important parts of you to keep you going. I was not wrong, but what happened, I wasn't really expecting it on things. So I've got this cool thing, smart TV, where I can cast straight to the TV from YouTube. So I can stick on any YouTube clip and it kind of just appears magically on the screen, which is great. But today I visited learning about the brain from UCLA. I don't know what UCLA is. I'm assuming it's a university or some sort of research place. I'm maybe showing my ignorance here, so please feel free to correct me. But it was what the brain is about. So the doctor guy, and it was so interesting, he was showing a model of the brain, and it was life-size model of the brain, and I was very, very comfortable with that. That was all good. But then the guy, I mean, he was showing what words did he use for it? The lobes and the hemispheres, I think. And he was showing where different parts were, like memory and consciousness and, movement and things like that. And he was saying that these are the areas, and he was showing, he was looking up under it and looking around his brain, and all looked cool. And it was really kind of detached from reality a little bit, because this was clearly plastic and it wasn't real. And then he reached into this other box, and he pulled out this real human brain on there. And I mean, I got myself into this, so I wasn't about to turn off the TV or turn off the YouTube clip, but I was not prepared for that at all. So I mean, it was very real. Didn't look a million times off the plastic one. If someone had told me it was plastic, I probably would have believed it. But he said no, it was real. It was life size. It was big. It was in his hand, and it was really, really real. I can't watch Casualty. If you're in America, Casualty is the equivalent of ER, and there's a lot of gore on there. So that was kind of unexpected. I wonder what my next voyage on YouTube and finding out about different parts of the body. Isn't it funny though how whenever you're in school that you don't really appreciate these things? And I definitely didn't. Some of my classes, I know people did, looking back, people probably were fascinated by it, and some of the kids were, but I definitely wasn't. Now I really am. Now I'd love to understand all of that, and now I'd love to figure that out and get into it. And I wonder, will that help me with trying to live a more healthy lifestyle by understanding the parts of the body? But yeah, I don't know if I want to see any more real life things like that. One of the interesting things that the guy said on the YouTube clip was pretty cool. He said, isn't it incredible how quickly we can speak, how quickly we can get ideas out, how quickly we can have a conversation, how quickly I can speak on this podcast without any real prep. I mean, to give you an idea of what I have behind the scenes, I have a book and I take down the things that are important throughout the day, the things that maybe I can share with you. This is a bit of ad lib right now, if that's the right word. This is a bit ad hoc. This isn't written down anywhere. That kind of proves the point of how speedy the brain to the mouth, to speech, to the vocal cords, to all of that stuff, it all just works. And it works in less than a split second. It works in a really short amount of time. It's pretty incredible and something that was cool to learn on the gory YouTube channel that I was watching. We took down some goals for the week last week, and it was kind of, there's something that happens whenever you have goals. There's something that happens whenever you write them down. If you write down your goals, they have a very strange way of coming true and of happening. And I don't know how to describe that. I don't know how to understand it. I don't know how to harness it. I just know that whenever you write something down, it happens. I don't know whether it's just writing it down and it's always in your mind and you know that it's something that you need to work towards, or whether there is some connection with the world and what happens whenever you write down things with goals. But goals are, in my experience, are the difference between success and failure at anything. And I don't know in life or anything, but certainly that's the case in business. It's quite logical. Write down where you want to go, work towards it all day, and you eventually get there. Sounds pretty reasonable, pretty logical to me. I mean, a lot of people will look at things like the law of attraction and things like that. I give that some credit, but not like anywhere near what other people would. I think visualizing success is a good idea, just so you know what you're looking for. Writing it down for sure makes sense, because I see, again, I'm a little bit tongue-tied about it because I don't really understand it myself, but I do know what happened this week and what happened last week. So we made a decision last week. I made a decision last week. We're going to be firing the engines to bring in new customers, because we're in a good place and we're in a good position to do that. So we did it. And this week we're sitting with an excellent new customer that signed up yesterday. And that means that there's a new customer in the PDG advertising landscape, and everybody's happy about it. When I say everybody, I mean Anthony and myself are very happy about it. And our customer is very happy about it as well. This customer is a massive seller on Amazon. 10,000 products they have, and they're just making their way into building their brand outside of Amazon. It's a very common situation that happens. And then people come to us with experience in e-commerce and working with people to do that. What they were going to do was they were going to hire someone to upload 10,000 items into Shopify one by one. And we're now able to, I think I might have mentioned this yesterday in the podcast, but we're now able to do that in seconds with an app. And that's something that we're going to be adding value with. And then what we'll be doing is starting to advertise the products that have been uploaded. These products are really nice pieces of merch, branded as well. There's some big media names that are on the pieces of merch. So that'll be a really interesting one. And we're looking forward to getting stuck into that. But we're not stopping there. We've got another few irons in the fire that we're working on, and looking forward to converting those guys into customers as well today. Not today, this week. Another thing that happened, had a couple of sales calls this week, or today, throughout the day. And they were pretty good. I can tell fairly quickly whether a customer is right for PDG advertising or not. We don't always know, but there's a way of proving that, and that's through BANT. I've talked about it before. It's where we go through with our prospective customers, potential customers, whether they have the budget, whether they are the person that can make the decision, which is authority, which is A, N, which is need. Do they actually need the product? I'm not in the business of giving anybody anything that they don't need, because my ambition is to do really great with all of our customers to build a really amazing digital advertising business. So that N is really important, and time, when they need it. Is it now or when is it? And both of these customers actually, they met all of that criteria for us. And it was really nice to talk to some like-minded people. And both of the customers towards the end were like, yeah, we kind of got it. You will suit us. And, and I got the same feeling because they were like-minded individuals. And I've read a couple of books. I think one of the books that I read was called How Google Works. And what they look for whenever they're hiring people is smart individuals or smart engineers, people who are able to problem solve. And they say that smart engineers are able to identify each other. I would for sure arrogantly place myself in the category of a smart engineer. I think, I can problem solve and that, but I understand that I can see it in other people as well. So whenever you're on a sales call with someone who has set up his own business and now is looking for expertise, and I have set up my own business and now I'm, working to bring that expertise to people, there's a connection and there's something that's important there. And we've had so many sales calls in the past 4 years that I would say maybe a third of them have been with like-minded, smart engineer type people, if that's the way to describe them. I would say all of the people have maybe been smart engineers of some sort, because they obviously, if they're trying to talk to us, they've developed their business to a certain point, and they have a business and they do that. But I wonder what the difference is between the people that we would qualify and the people that we wouldn't qualify. It might be just a difference in their stage of their journey, or for the people that we didn't qualify for, because we certainly haven't won every pitch that we've went to. We've got a very high strike rate of being able to win a lot of the business that we go for. But there have been local business that we have lost in tender process. There have been international businesses. So we're not in the same way that we qualify people. People for sure qualify us, and we don't always come out on top in those discussions. So what I'm trying to say was, there were 2 sales calls today and they were really enjoyable. And if we get the business, I'd be really delighted. The only thing I would be annoyed about is if we didn't keep in touch with these guys, because they were really smart people. One of the businesses is a personal branding business based in Dubai. It'd be very exciting to work with them. And another one of the businesses is STEM Toys, but it's really cool STEM toy. STEM stands for Science, Engineering, Technology and Maths. And this toy is like a little robot that works on an app on your phone that you can control, or you can control the app with the robot. It's very cool. Something to teach kids how to code with it at a base level. So you can imagine these are the types of people. Personal branding, very smart, very Swish, understands himself. STEM person, technological, very clever, way clever than I would ever hope. I think I could ever hope to be. So 2 very, very interesting calls. And something else came up on both of those calls. Whenever we started PDG Advertising, I think we might have had a tendency to guarantee things. And I learned from a guy, Simon Sinek. He's a big speaker. He talks about finding your why. And I saw recently now we stopped doing that a long time ago because there's too many factors to guarantee anything. I can guarantee that we'll do the best possible job that we can do. I can guarantee that you will have the best adverts in your class for the budget that you have. I can guarantee that we will do what we say we do. But I cannot guarantee that your sales will be at a certain level. I cannot guarantee that your email acquisition will be at a certain level. I can guarantee that we will work on it together, but I can't guarantee specific numbers. And the reason is because there are too many other factors outside of my control and PDG Advertising's control that would allow us to guarantee that. Like, no business can guarantee that. No business can guarantee anything really. At any point, a market can shift. At any point, a Facebook algorithm can change. And at any point, your business could become non-applicable to digital advertising. So that's something that I wanted to bring up about not guaranteeing results, more guaranteeing the work that you will do. And look, we guarantee it to such an effect that we say, look, if you're not happy, we stand over our work and we'll give you a refund on our work and on our labor, because we are that confident that we are so reputable, and we don't work with people that aren't reputable that would just try and do it. That it would have to be something that would go spectacularly wrong for us to let someone down in terms of not doing the work that we said that we would do. So in terms of results and guaranteeing results, that's a very important thing for PDG Advertising. We don't guarantee any results, but we do guarantee that we will do the work that we say that we will do. Thanks so much for listening. Anybody that is listening out there, as I said, if you're one of the people that's listening to the podcast today, it would make my day if you would subscribe to the channel or put a comment under one of the videos. And look, you'll definitely get a reply. I can guarantee you. I can guarantee you that. From a rainy, drizzly Belfast evening, I wish you all the best in your day. And I look forward to tomorrow's podcast. Bye.